then finally, of course, the demo is kasunod na to nung sa Java core concepts. Okay, next slide. Okay, so kayo naman muna kasi may liga akong maging interactive pagdating sa what do you call this, sa Zoom kasi 'di ba ang hirap na wala kang kausap talaga. So, I'd like you to go to menti.com. If you're familiar with menti.com, it's a website where you can post yung mga polls. Ay, may nauna na, okay. So you can put in this code or you can scan the QR code. Or kung hindi talaga kayo makalog in, you can use the chat box. So, mag-a-attempt lang akong Ma'am Cindy, can I share screen? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Mag-a-attempt akong mag-share screen. Hopefully, walang technical problem. Okay. Sige. So, para makita nyo kung ano na yung lumalabas. So, this is a real-time na poll. So, as you answer, you will also see yung lumalabas na sagot. So, this is similar dun sa pinagawa ni Sir Paul kanina umaga if you were able to attend yung ating plenary session. Okay? Okay, so, ayan. So far, mga sumasagot pa lang ay they have used. Okay, meron ng isa. Hindi. Okay. So it's okay if you haven't used programming kasi I will really, I will really discuss yung very basic. Okay? Kaya baka sa mga iba na familiar na, it'll just be a review. Okay, so just give time para makasagot yung iba. I think we have, dyan tayo ngayon, 41 participants. Okay? So no, okay lang yan. Actually, mas gusto ko yung mga walang programming background kasi it'll be, yung gusto ko yung naiinganyo ko silang mag-program. If ever man. Okay. So, kahit anong background kayo, okay. Yes, Ma'am Madeline, okay, nakita ko yung chat nyo. Okay lang po yan kasi sa ngayon, kahit na anong field kayo, bio, math, or whatever, physics, parang important na rin na you have to have an idea of how programming works. Eh kung kaya nyo mag-program talaga, then the better. Okay? So, okay, hintayin pa natin yung iba. Can we hit maybe around 30? Okay. So, marami pa rin may programming, which is good. Okay. So, lalo na sa high school, I think most, hindi naman most, pero some are already teaching programming in high school, which is good. Okay, kasi maganda na kickstart nila high school pa lang, they already know. Pero also, I'd like to share isang website, which bibigay ko to sa mga students na talagang walang background sa programming, just to maingganyo silang think in a way, kasi iba yung thinking mo dapat when you're solving problems using a programming language. Okay, si Ma'am Michelle, with background in use programming language. Okay po. Okay, 22 na tayo. Kasi nasa chat, of course. Okay. Pag iba nahihiya magsagot. Okay lang yan. Anyway, sige. I think okay na tayo sa number natin. So most of you have previously used any programming language. Hindi ba? Wala kang talagang programming background, and that's okay. Okay, meron din yung marunong may concept pero hindi pa nakagamit ng any languages. Ayan, ano na sila. Tawag nito, nag-equal na. Okay. So I think okay na tayo sa ating demographics. I think I already have an idea of how to go about this. So okay naman, and this is good. We can go to the basics as a review for those who already know, and then it'll be something a bit new for sa mga hindi pa talaga nagpo-program. Okay. So thank you very much. Pwede na ba ako na yung mag-screen share ng slide? Kaya na kaya to? Okay, mukha naman. Nakikita niyo pa ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay, sige. So thank you sa mga sumagot dun sa ating menti.com. So this is something also na I would promote. Hindi ako hindi ako endorser, pero kung gusto yung maging interactive ang inyong mga Zoom meetings, then you can use Menti. Okay, so back tayo dun sa basic or dun sa definition of programming. So madali naman tong i-google sa internet, what is programming? And you have many, many answers. And ako naman, I'd like to see kung ano ang programming from different people or from yung mga experts or yung mga batikan na sa mga programming. And the first one is from Gabe. If you're familiar kayo kay Gabe Newell, Newell is the creator of Valve. Valve is a company, it's a gaming company. So yung mga familiar sa Half-Life, Counter-Strike, Dota, yan. Yan yung company na gumawa ng mga games na yun. Okay, so si Gab or Gabe says that programming is basically explaining to a computer what you want it to do. Okay, that's the most simplest na explanation that you can think of to describe what is programming. So by the way, this is a screenshot from a YouTube video, which I would like also to share with you kasi ito yung unang-una kong pang-engganyo sa mga sa mga com-sci students, sa mga freshman students namin para mag-move on sa com-sci. Okay, kasi tawag nito, sa video na to, maririnig nyo yung mga interviews from this famous, hindi man famous, pero yung mga, like I've said, yung mga programmers na talagang matagal na. Okay, so this is one definition of programming from Gabe. And then we have another one, which I think is mas familiar kayo, kay paring Mark. Okay, si Mark says that programming is one of the only things in the world that you can do where you can sit down and just make something completely new from scratch, whatever you want. Okay, which is true. And sabi ko nga din sa mga estudyante ko, yung mga first years na hanggang ngayon na ma-amaze pa rin ako sa aking course or sa programming kasi really start from a blank page, literally a blank page. And then nakakatuwa na once you've done with your program, it's already something na people can touch. Parang tangible, meron ka ng button na kapag press mo yung button, it will do something. Okay, so ganun ka amazing or na-amaze ako dun sa aking sa aking course pag-develop ng mga softwares. Okay? So, after these two definitions, we can sum it up into a simpler definition, which is writing a set of instruction that can be understood by the computer telling it what to do. So, meron tong alternate na process or sabihin natin, may method na counterpart ng dating definition, wherein the first part is when you write a set of instruction, you are actually coding. And then when it can be understood by or when it should be understood by the computer, that is when a compiler comes in or yung compiler natin, i-compile niya yung ating instruction into something that the computer can understand. And then after which, of course, is the execution, wherein kung ano man yung instruction nyo doon sa inyong code, this is what the computer will do. So these are the three breakdown of processes ng programming. Okay. So na-mention ko yung coding. So baka nagtatanong kayo, usually ganun ako, inuunahan ko yung mga estudyante sa tanong, anong difference ng coding sa programming? Okay. So meron tayong magandang definition from goodcore.co. May tayong mga teachers na magaling tayong kumuha from sa mga references. And this is a good analogy or sabihin natin, a good explanation of what is the difference between coding and programming. So coding, sabi na, is a subset wherein ang ginagawa mo sa coding is to just write a lines of codes. So usually, pag nag-code ka, meron tayong ginagamit na language and syntax. So ano ang syntax? Ang syntax is, isipin nyo lang siya as a set of rules that you follow to enable to write your codes. Okay? And then programming, kung makikita nyo, mas malaki yung scope niya. Mas malaki. So ano ba yung kasama sa programming aside from coding? Kasama dyan ang debugging. Ang debugging is, when you debug, may term yun. Pag may bug ang iyong code, ibig sabihin may error ang iyong code. So pag nagde-debug ka, that means you're removing yung errors. And then we also have yung testing, yung translation ng requirements. So this is when you're analyzing the problem. Right? Meron kayong given problem and you're going to solve it. Then kasama yun sa programming. And then finally, yung documentation. Okay, documentation, hindi lang ito yung document na parang gumagawa tayo ng Word document. May documentation din tayo pagdating sa code mismo. Okay, I'll show you that sa demo later. Okay, so once we got this off now, meron tayo isang poll. Okay, mahilig ako sa interaction talaga. Okay, I want you to go again to menti.com and then answer or put in this code. So buksan ko na lang ulit siya. Okay. So this is the question. Again, sa mga hindi makapagpasok sa ating menti.com, you can always answer sa ating chat box. Okay. So this is a word map. So similar ito dun sa pinakita ni Sir Paul kaninang umaga. May gumagawa siya ng word cloud. Pero this time, word map ang term ng Mentimeter. Okay, pero anyway, it's the same concept. So anything. So ano bang naiisip nyo when you hear programming? I'll give you a few minutes to answer. Okay, codes, computers. Meron sa chat. Programming languages, Python, Java, C, C++. Okay, syntax. Okay, computer science. Yan, dumadami na. Okay, nerd. Okay, nerd. Debugging, internet. Loops, R, okay. So may nag-R na. Hack, okay, yes, hacking. Logic, true. Okay. Estudyante ko pala yung nerd, okay. Siya palang sumagot nun. Hello, Giselle. Okay, ano pa? Okay, mostly coding. So, if you can see, dito sa ating word map pala, kapag lumalaki yung word, ibig sabihin mas madaming nagsusulat nun. Okay, so, anyway, go ahead. Dagdagan pa natin. Meron pa akong gustong tumbukin actually. How about feeling? What do you mean? What do you feel when you hear the word programming? Okay, mukhang talagang mga what do you call this, formal na mga definitions ang or mga terms ang inyong naiisip pagdating sa programming. Okay na? Scripting. Okay, internet, language, math. Yes, true, math. May math din sa programming. Okay. Mukhang wala na atang gusto mong sagot. Meron pa bang hahabol? Ano pa ba? Compiling, language. May na-miss out ba ako? Security. Okay, yes. No sleep.
Challenging din daw, ma'am. May DM. Exciting and challenging. May direct message.
Oh, talaga. Okay, very good. Thank you. Natuwa ako sa no sleep eh. Stress talaga. Okay. Sige. Hindi ko mga estudyante itong mga to. Okay. Sige. Ayan, dagdag pa. Diba? Scripting, anong bago dyan? Okay. Sige. Mukhang okay na tayo dito sa ating Mentimeter. Okay. So, balik ako dun sa ating slide. Ay, mas magot pa. Codes, coding. Okay. Technology. Okay. Yan. Ayan. So, more or less, parang ina-associate nyo talaga ang programming with dog. May satisfaction. Okay. Okay. So, itong mga terms na to, parang ito yung gusto nyong parang, hindi naman sa parang, pero I think, mostly mga terms na yun yung naiisip nyo kapag sinabing programming. So parang basically, dahil nga dun sa ating poll kanina, almost lahat mayroon ng background, di ba? And may nagsabi pa, staring ito, staring at the screen for hours. Okay. Ayan, tama nga, staring at the screen for hours. Okay, pwede rin. Okay, yun yung mga ginagawa pag programming. Pag lost ka na. Okay, so anyway, gusto kong tumbukin actually is yung when you first program, ito yung lagi nilang sinasabi. Kung naalala pa ng mga marunong mag-program dyan, yung first time yung mag-program, okay, ano yung feeling? Okay? And ito yung sinasabi ni Drew Houston na nag-creator to ng Dropbox, sabi niya, it's not unlike playing an instrument or playing a sport. It starts out to be very intimidating. Okay? So yun usually ang naiisip kapag nasa programming ka. Pero of course, if you have no idea what is programming, talagang you don't know that it is intimidating unless, of course, pagpasok mo sa first class, pina-program ka na talagang intimidating yun. Okay, but again, after you get the hang of it, sabi din ni Drew, you get the hang of it, over time. Okay, so talagang kailangan mong mag-practice when you do programming. Okay, so familiar din kayo kay Chris Bosch, mga NBA fans dyan. Okay, he also coded in college and sabi din niya na it can be intimidating, but a lot of things are intimidating, but what is it? Okay, and then ito si McKinsey, sana na-pronounce ko ng tama, McKinsey Adingbo, sabi niya, he's a Facebook engineer. A lot of coding people do is actually fairly simple. It's more about the process of breaking down problems and coming up with complicated algorithms as people think about it. Okay, so when you say algorithms, ito kayo mga may first time na encounter ang algorithm na word, it's just a set of instruction to solve a problem, ang algorithm. Okay, so yung sinasabi ni McKinsey kasi is merong term dito sa computer science na tinatawag na divide and conquer. So if you have a big problem, if you're given a big problem na solve, you have to break it down into smaller problems and then solve those smaller problems until you will be able to solve the whole picture. Okay? So yun yung ginagawa niya. Actually, si McKinsey ay isang JavaScript ang kanyang language. And marami siyang contribution sa Facebook. Although unfortunately, hindi na siya nasa Facebook. I think nasa Pinterest na siya. Okay? So yun. Okay, so let's start with unlocking programming with the programming languages. So just to give you a background, kasi bakit Java of all languages? Nasa second part na tayo halos. So bakit nga ba Java? I'll give you an overview of what is out there. Okay? Ano ba ang meron sa development world ng mga languages? And apparently, there are many. May maraming languages. Meron pang parating in the future, I'm pretty sure. Okay? Kasi laging may bago. Okay? So how do we keep up? Parang ganun yung question na no? How do we keep up? But anyway, this is an analyst firm called Red Monk they produced this programming language rankings for the first quarter of this year. So ito yung ang kanilang basis ay Stack Overflow and GitHub. Okay, so tinignan nila yung popularity ng mga languages na yon, and as you can see, Java is still on top 3. Okay, so hindi malaki siya ng Java, pero I just find it a very useful language. Okay, so top 3 pa rin siya, aside from JavaScript, Python. If you know Python, then yay. Ikaw ay uso pa rin ng Python. And then C still nasa top 10. Okay, C is usually one of the languages that we also teach sa computer science. So all the rest, baka familiar kayo. Okay, and then we have Go. Go is quite, relatively new, which is developed by Google. Okay, so sabi nga natin, Java is still relevant. So that's one of the reasons then why I still use Java because yung popularity na to is not just for, pang bragging rights, pero it's because it tells you what languages are relevant, okay? What are in use in the industry. And that will help you decide, let's say, yung mga estudyante nyo, nagtanong sa inyo, ma'am, sir, ano ba yung mga languages na pwede kong pwede kong i-concentrate. Okay, so you can go into the rankings and see kung ano yung mga relevant, ay mga popular na mga languages. So for example, ito si Tayo, tama magsabi, TIOBE index. So this is from May 2021 this year. Okay, sabi niya that the index daw is based on popular search engines like Google, Bing, Yahoo, Wikipedia, Amazon, YouTube, and Baidu. Okay, so these are what they use to calculate yung ratings na ito. And as you can see, medyo bumaba actually si Java from second place. Okay? So, okay, so iba to yung sa ratings ng ng GitHub sa isa. C naman ang number 1 nila. Okay, so iba-iba talaga yung rankings. But anyway, ano ang stagnant dyan is that Java is still on top 5. Okay. So ito natuwa lang ako kasi I was going across this, searching dun sa mga programming languages. And nakita ko tong periodic table of programming languages. So nakakatawa, they actually created this one and matagal na pala, 2012 pa, by Paul Bowler. So you can see itong languages na to, they are positioned by history or historical. So the first one is the oldest, yung nasa A tsaka E. And then pinakabago yung nasa baba. And then yung color scheme nito, if you are familiar with the programming languages, meron silang paradigm na tawag or type. Okay, so pwedeng may imperative languages, object-oriented, which is what Java is. We have functional, dynamic, concurrent, and multi-paradigm. Okay, so ibig sabihin, nagkakaroon na rin pala ng mga languages na hybrid. Okay? So, it could be combination of the old na mga types of languages. So, if you can see Java, dito siya sa mga bandang second to the last row. So, si Java is actually influenced by C++. Okay, so C++, and then si C++ is influenced din siya by Simula. Okay? So, ito, nakakatawa lang siyang tingnan na chart. Okay, so, dami mga languages pa. Okay, so ito yung gusto kong i-share din. Sinisingit ko lang siya kasi kung wala talagang programming background ang mga students nyo and you want them to think, at least yung yung starting idea or notions ng programming, then you can use this for your students, which is scratch.mit.edu. Although pang bata siya, usually sa ibang bansa ginagamit ng mga bata talaga kasi very graphical. So let's say mag-click and drag lang siya na app. So click and drag and then ikaw yung mag-decide kung ano yung gagawin ng whatever character you have on the screen. So, it's a fun way para yung mga students nyo would be able to create parang na rin siya, program. Okay, once you play it, ano yung gagawin ng inyong icon or ano bang tawag dyan? Sprite ang tawag. Okay. So, yun. Okay. So, how do we start? We must know the tool, of course. So, of course, we need to understand what Java is or ano ba yung beginnings ng Java? Okay? So I'll go into a little history ng Java. Okay, so you might want to take notes. Meron tayong quiz. So pag-iisipan ko pa yung prize actually mamaya. Okay. Para paghanda niyo lang, may mga take note of the terms. Okay, sasabihin ko. Okay, so Java was developed by Sun Microsystems. Although we already know that Sun is already part of Oracle. And it was started as part of the Green Project in 1991. So si James Gosling, or called as Dr. Java, he's still alive by the way. He's the father of Java, and he created it with his teams, Patrick, Ed Frank, Mike, and Chris Ward. And it was originally named Oak. Okay, so sabi nila, dahil daw sa malaking oak tree sa labas ng opisina ni James Gosling. Pero hindi namin sure yun. But it was already, ayun nga, gusto nilang oak sana yung original name ni Java, but it was already taken or a registered product name. So, ang mga alternatives nila, Silk, Lyric, Pepper, NetProse, Neon. So, imagine yung Java tawag na Ruby. Okay? So, baka by that time, naunahan siya ni, naunahan niya na si Ruby on Rails. Okay? So anyway, mga iba pa, web dancer and web spinner. Okay, so just a timeline kung paano ba or ano yung nangyari kay Java since its inception or it's in its una time na na-reveal siya sa world was in 1995. So first siyang naipakita sa world or usually sa media in 1995, the first release, the Java 1.082. And then in 1986, the next year, was the first Java development kit. Okay, so JDK. So ito yung pinapa-download ko sa inyo. Java, I forgot. Anyway, it was released kasama yung Java OS. So gumawa sila ng operating system kasi Java was nag-i-incline siya into web or internet. Okay? Web sa mga web applications. And then ito pala si Duke. Si Duke ay yung kanilang mascot ng Java. Kaya mostly nagtataka kayo bakit siya laging lumalabas pag Java. Si Duke yan. Okay. So 2009, Oracle acquired Sun. Of course, nagkaiba tayo ng owner. And then by 2016, nagkaroon ng 10 million plus developers using Java. That's the claim of Java sa kanilang website. And then, of course, medyo parang nag-doubt ako. And a quick search dun sa internet na I stumbled across this blog by Nikita Selnikov-Tarnovsky. Sabi niya, gumawa siya ng iba pang ng findings niya. Kung nag-research siya, kung ano nga ba yung mga kung totoo ba yung kiniklaim ng Oracle na 10 million plus developers, paano na nabilang yun? Okay? So, ang ginawa niya was to pumunta siya sa mga websites, yung mga download pages ng mga Java itself, yung Spring, lahat ng mga Java products. And then, in-average niya. And sa kanya, ang lumabas was an exact number, which is 8,311,000. Yun ang kanyang estimate. So, that was in last year pala, July 12, 2020. Okay, so hindi natin alam ngayon. Pero more or less, parang short of 2 million yung kanyang estimate ng Oracle. Okay? And then last year was the celebration of the 25th birthday of Java. Okay, so it's still, of course, again, this is the claim of the Oracle or dun sa website nila that it remains the #1 programming language for developers. Okay. So again, bakit nga ba Java? It's because of its large or wide, ang kanyang wide application. So it's now being used by Twitter kasi it has a lot of use or tweets, sabihin natin tweets a day, and kayang-kaya yun ng Java virtual machine, which I will discuss in a few mamaya sa aking lecture. And then we have yung mga best popular projects on Java. We have NASA Whirlwind, if you're familiar with that, sa research. LinkedIn, Netflix, like Netflix. Google also has partially uses Java. And then, hindi ko lang po ano yung M. Ano to? Anyway, yung isa is Android, of course, Android mobile phones. And then Spotify. And then Amazon. Okay, so marami na siyang application ng Java, and it's used by a lot of enterprises, especially for those that are using the internet and mobile operating systems. Okay, so saan na tayo? So ngayon, natapos na natin what is the basic idea of programming. Bakit Java? Why Java of all languages? And now, let's go to coding. Okay, so hopefully, hindi naman mag-crash yung aking Zoom. So I want you to open your Eclipse with me. Sabay-sabay tayo. Okay, so I will, ayan, nakikita ba? Nakikita niyo ba yung Eclipse interface?
Yes, pa.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so I'm using an older version. Okay, sorry, tamad ako mag-update ng Eclipse, but probably you have a different interface when you open your Eclipse. Pero more or less, ito yung itsura ng Eclipse editor. Okay, so what's great about Eclipse or even NetBeans or even any other editor is hindi na kailangan mag-download ng Java separately and then install it. So si Eclipse, siya na mismo yung nag-i-install ng Java runtime environment, yung mga ganun, for you to be able to run. So parang it's a quick and easy way to code sa Java without, the additional setup. Of course, if you're using Mac or Linux, pwede naman kayong gumamit sa console. Okay, so this is just my preference. Okay, so dito tayo sa Eclipse. Wala pa tayong laman sa ating, wala pa tayong project, I mean. So we'll start by creating a project. So you can just click on File, New, and then we use Java Project. So kung hindi lumabas ang Java Project sa inyong menu, you can go dun sa project na Word, and then mag-pop out yung mga options natin. So just use Java Project. Okay? Java Project. So let me know if you have any problems while I'm doing this. May gusto ko talaga sabay-sabay tayo so you can also test how. Okay? Lalo na yung mga first time mag-program. Okay. So you have a project name. So let's call it SINSM. SINSM 20. SINSM lang. Okay? And then just click. Okay, wala namang kailangan i-set up dyan. Make sure it's the Java SE. Dami ko palang download. Anyway, Java SE. Okay, next. Usually, first time na sinet up, okay naman na yun. You no need to change anything in your configuration. Okay, so this is okay. Then click Finish. Okay, so when you click Finish, makikita niyo may folder kayo dito sa left side. So ito is yung parang directory nyo. Hindi parang, directory nyo talaga to. Okay, so dito yung inyong folder ng SINSM. And then, meron siyang automatic na, automatic na source folder na create. Okay, so this is where your codes will go. Or di natin sisave yung ating code. So just right-click ulit si source para mabilis. And then create, source, and then package. So ito yung hierarchy kasi natin para mas malinis yung ating pag-code. We have yung project, and then we have a package, and then we have your classes. Okay, so next natin gawin, we can create a package. Package name, sabihin natin, it could be SINSM ulit, pero I'll just change it para ma-distinguish. Okay, so SINSM 2021. So this is the package. So ang package, parang isipin yung folder lang siya. Okay? So SINSM, right-click ulit. We're still not on the class. So next na tayo sa, ito na, last na to, promise. Class na. Okay. Yung class, dito na tayo maglalagay ng ating code. Okay. So ang first natin, which is a cliche for, alam ko na yung mga mag-program, sasabihin na hello world. Ibahin ko na konti. Welcome. Okay. Welcome. So, ang ilalagay ko lang dito is yung name ng mismong class. So, welcome. And then just click. Okay. So, ito pala, may mga stubs dito. And since meron, so this is the first one. So, pang testing. Pwede akong mag-check ng public static void main. May explanation ako dyan. Pero let's just click on that. If you see that. And then click finish. Okay. Medyo matagal ang konti. Okay, so ang ginawa niya is nag-generate na siya ng isang class, may welcome.java. So you can see, na-rename niya na yung file, or gumawa na siya ng file na welcome.java, which is at the same name of your class. So, although it's a bit too early to say this, pero make sure, take note na kapag public ang iyong class, kailangan the same name ng class yung iyong file name. Okay? So again, this is your static void name. Ngayon, magka-copy-paste ako, pero bibigyan ko din kayo ng code para mabilis. Okay? So, this is sa paste bin. So, I'm gonna share this sa chat para mabilis. Okay? So, ito na yung code na i-copy-paste ninyo dun sa ating screen. Okay, wait lang. Okay, I'll just copy that. Okay, and then paste. Okay, so huwag niyong tanggalin yung sinisa yung package ninyo. Okay, so this is my first program. Okay. Nakakasunod ba yung mga nagtatry din? Let me know lang kung karoon kayo ng problem.
Yes, ma'am.
Or merong meron kayong question, just use the chat kung ayaw niyong magsalita. Okay? Sige. So this is the first, parang cliche sasabihin ko kasi parang halos lahat ng libro sa Java, lahat ng tutorial sa Java, ganito na ata yung laman. Yung first is printing. Pag-print ng line of code sa console, or dun sa ating output screen. Ngayon, itong public class, so meron akong comment dyan for reference din. So every Java has at least one class followed by the identifier welcome. So when you say identifier, these are names that we use to label yung ating class, yung ating method, yung ating variables. Yung mga identifier, pwedeng kahit na ano yan. Pero usually, meron tayong rules to follow when we're naming class. So usually, ang dalawang kailangan yung matandaan is that if class name siya, lagi siya nagsistart sa capital letters. Okay? Tapos kapag variables, sorry, inuunahan ko yung sarili ko, pero gusto ko kasi ipakita. Int, for example, I'm using a variable, so let's say number. Mapansin nyo, a number starts with a small letter. Okay, so yun yung dalawang dapat yung tandaan. Pag class name, capital letters, and then numbers starts with small letters. Okay? Using NetBeans. Si Fernan, okay, no problem, sir. Kung if you're using NetBeans, no, same din lang naman po. You can copy-paste the same code. No problem. Oo. Kung nakabukas na kayo ng NetBeans. Okay, so, ang pagkakaiba lang siguro yung interface, pero almost the same naman. Okay. Sige. So, balik tayo. So, yung dalawang tatandaan nyo sa naming convention ng Java. Okay, I think, yeah, yun lang. Huwag ko lang dagdagan. Okay, so yung class na keyword, yung ginamit ko dito, mapansin nyo, nag-iba siya ng kulay aside compared sa dyan because they are reserved words. So when you say reserved words, ito yung mga hindi nyo pwedeng gamitin na variables. Okay, or hindi nyo pwede siyang gamitin na class name. So, for example, sabihin ko public class. Yan, hindi yan pwede. Nakita nyo, di ba? Okay, tayo mga error. Sabi, syntax, error on token. So, you cannot use it as your identifier. So, balik ulit natin. Welcome. Okay, cancel. Welcome. Yeah. Tapos next, since this is declared public, yun sinabi ko na you need to save the file the same name as welcome. Kung hindi ko to dineclare na public, okay, class welcome lang, I can rename this into anything. Okay? So, yun naman ang mga common errors kasi kung minsan na na-encounter ng first time na mag-program sa Java. Okay. So, everything inside open and close bracket is called the body. So, in this case, ito, ipindutin nyo siya, nakita nag-highlight ng kanyang partner, closing brackets. This or lahat ng nasa loob ay body. Okay, by the way, baka yung mga hindi nakakalam, itong nasa double slash, okay, those are what we call as comments. Okay? So kapag comments, okay, sorry, hindi pa masyado makita, maliit yung fonts. Okay, wait lang ha. Ano ba, zoom in. Zoom in na ba? Isa pa. Oo nga, okay. Maliit pala siya. Wait lang. Editor. Ayan, nag-responding ulit. Yan. Window. Editor. Zoom in. Okay na po? Yan. Okay na po ba? Si Sir John Ray. Okay, sige. So anyway, like I've said, yung binigay ko na sa chat na na link yun, yung sa pastebin.com, yun yung laman, itong dinidiscuss ko ngayon, yun yung code na to. Okay, so you can just copy-paste from there. Okay, so next natin is the main method. Okay, yung main method, ito, haba-haba, sobrang haba, pero this is the entry point of your program. So lahat ng nasa loob ng main, lahat ng nandito, dito magsisimula ang execution or kung ano man yung rinaran ninyo. Okay, so at this point or at this case, ang laman lang ng ating main na method is system.out.println. So from the name, it just says printing, welcome to Java programming. Yun lang yung ibig niyang sabihin. Okay, so this is the specific instruction to display lahat ng nasa loob ng ating double quotes. Okay, so take note of this syntax kasi ito yung mga certain rules na kailangan natin i-follow pagdating sa programming. Marami pang rules actually. And pag una kang programming nakakalito, nakakalimutan mo din. Pero as you get the hang of it, over time, pag practice kayo ng practice, okay yan, maaalala nyo na siya. Parang riding a bike, maalala nyo kaagad. Diba? Okay, so anyway, yung nasa system.out.println, ang kanyang laman is a string. Okay, string na enclosed in quotes. Okay, so lahat ng nasa quotes na yan, yan ang lalabas sa ating console. Okay, and then, ito yung pinakalaging problema ng mga freshman students sa programming, yung semicolon. Okay, yung semicolon na yan, lagi dapat yan meron sa bawat statement ng inyong code. Although, of course, mapapansin nyo sa iba, wala naman dito, wala naman dyan. Okay, dito lang yun sa mga statements natin. So, for example, magde-declare ako ng variable, yung ginawa ko kanina, number. Okay? At hindi ako naglagay ng semicolon, maka-flag agad siya as error. So, actually, sinasabi niya diretso. Syntax error, insert semicolon. Okay? So, ganun kagaling sa Eclipse. Even NetMeets also do this. Okay? So, kung naglagay ng semicolon, mawala yung error natin. Okay, so these are statements. And tanggalin ko muna. And of course, dahil nag-open tayo ng bracket, kailangan meron tayong partner closing bracket. So, ganun din sa ating class. Okay, so si class, meron open and close bracket. Si method or si main method, meron din tayong open and close brackets. Okay, so ito na. I-save natin muna siya. And then, kung mahanap na yung run dito sa taas, okay, yung parang play button, pindutin nyo yun. Okay. Sana hindi mag-hang. Okay. So, pindutin nyo yan and then, yan, magic. Okay. Yung box na nasa baba is what we call as console. So, yan, dito lumalabas yung whatever we want to print sa system.out.println. Okay. So, pwede pa tayong mag-print ng marami pa. Pero, the idea is that whatever you put in dun sa system.out, ilalabas niya dito sa inyong console. Okay, so ganun din sa if you're running sa command prompt, diba? Pag sa terminal kayo, for example, buksan ko na lang saglit. Okay, for example, nasa command prompt kayo. And then, may command to na equivalent if you're running yung usual na Java sa ang tawag nito, outside the editor. May dalawang commands na kailangan mong i-run, which is Java C or Java compile. So, for example, welcome to Java. And assuming natin na yung aking welcome to Java ay nasa system 32. Anyway, yan. Lalabas dyan, of course may error to. Mangyayari doon is makakompile yung aking code. And then to run that code is, again, another command, which is Java. Okay? So, itong dalawang commands na to, ito yung equivalent ng pagpindot natin dun sa button na yun. Okay? So, ganun siya kagaling, di ba? Isang pindot lang. Okay. So, balik ako dun sa ating PowerPoint. Okay. So, anong nangyari behind the scenes? Yeah, so this is our program. So, what happened when we click on that run button? Okay, marami actually. Okay, so behind the scenes, what happened was, of course, we started with coding. Nag-start tayo ng program, ginawa natin yun, save natin as .java. Actually, si editor ang nag-save sa .java. And then we pressed that run button. So dalawang major na bagay ang nangyari. Okay? Una, si Java program ay na-compile into bytecodes. So bytecodes is a little, parang sabihin natin, into a code na medyo mas maiintindihan ng computer. Okay, so tinatranslate niya yon into bytecodes which is produced or which is saved in a .class file. So kung pupunta kayo doon sa folder kung saan nyo sinave si welcome.java at nag-run kayo or nag-javac nag-compile kayo, may automatically na mag-appear na .class, okay? Or welcome.class file. And laman nun is your bytecodes. So yung bytecodes na yun will be babasahin ng JVM or the Java Virtual Machine. So ito yung nabanggit kanina ng Java Virtual Machine and ini-invoke siya by the Java command. So once sabi kong dalawang command, si javac produces a .class file. Si Java naman is the start of the run or the execution. Pero ang unang-unang ginagawa is si JVM, i-invoke niya, si JVM places yung program in memory para ma-execute. Okay? And then, once na-load yung classes na yun, yung verifier ensures mag-validate pa siya and it does not violate yung mga Java security restrictions. So yun yung una, ilo-load niya yung program into memory and then si JVM executes the bytecode. So siya yung magbabasa dun sa pinasa ni javac command, okay, which is in that class. So kung anong laman ng bytecode na yon, itatranslate niya into machine language. So yung bytecode na to, hindi pa to yung talagang maintindihan ng computer. It's into the machine language na gagawin ni JVM. Okay? So si JVM will translate the bytecode into machine language for the computer in which the program executes. So take note kasi yung JVM natin is like, makita nyo dun sa dun sa aking illustration. Pero si JVM is parang siya yung interface between the different operating systems. So you can run your Java code into different operating systems. So siya yung magic box na tinatawag. Okay? So once na-read na ng machine language or ng computer nyo yung machine language, lalabas na yung ating output, which is welcome to Java programming. Okay? So I hope that was medyo clear kung anong nangyari doon. Okay. Ito yung sinasabi ko. So ito yung slogan ng Java, which is yung sa simula pa lang nung dinabas nilang Java, ito na yung yung kanilang proud na slogan, which is write once, run anywhere. And that is possible because of the JVM. So yung JVM, kung makita nyo, dun sa illustration natin, siya yung interface between any of the operating system. So yung source code, ulit sa compiler, then the bytecode, babasahin ni JVM. Si JVM nang bahalang mag-adjust kung para sa ang operating system. So kapag nag-download kayo ng Eclipse dun sa website na binigay ko, make sure that you are downloading for the operating system of your computer. Okay? So hindi pwedeng mag-work yan. So kung magkaiba. Okay. So JVM is part of the Java development kit which executes bytecode. So sinabi ko na bytecode instructions are platform independent. So dito pa lang, yung bytecode na na-compile nyo or yung class files nyo, pwede siyang ma-run ng any JVM. So hindi nyo na kailangan i-recode yung inyong file or inyong Java file para for a particular operating system. So hindi tulad nung iba like C or ibang mga language. Kasi yung mga languages na kailangan specific for a certain operating system. Okay, so sa Java, you can use the same Java file or the class file actually, and then get it interpreted by the JVM for whatever operating system. Okay, so yun. Okay, ito na yun. Another break. Okay, so since malapit na tayong mag-break, Cindy, ano oras ang ating break?
2:30 po.
2:30. O, sige. So, we have time. So, I want you to go to Menti again. Okay. So, i-recall nyo yung mga sinabi ko. Okay, and we'll think about a prize for you guys. Okay, yung best performer. Okay, so share ko ulit. Nasaan na yun? Okay, sorry. Okay, so si activity 1. Okay, ang galing-galing ng Menti kasi pwede siyang mag-store kung sino yung best performer sa quizzes nyo. Okay, so may timer itong activity na to for each question. Okay, so may nag-ano na. Ayan, mga nag-add na. Ayan. Make sure ha na yung mga names nyo, wala akong name yan eh, pero yung mga names nyo is names nyo talaga. But anyway, kung kayo nanalo, screenshot nyo na lang. Okay? Then send it to us. Okay, so 15. Sige, hintayin natin pumasok yung iba. Yan, 18 players. Sige lang, wala namang to. Hindi naman to graded. Don't worry. Hindi naman kayo, hindi naman kayo ma-incomplete. Okay, for fun lang naman to. I know, no pressure. Saka we can see your names kung sumasagot kayo. Kaya, okay lang yan. Get 22, wala na ba? Ba't may bumawi? Okay. Sige lang, try lang ng try. Madali lang naman siya. Don't worry. Hindi naman siya ganun ka, Okay na ba? 23. O sige, okay. Start na tayo. Okay, faster. So, kapag kayo pinakauna, okay. What was Java's original name? Dali lang yan. Okay. You have 15 seconds to answer. Wala ba ano? Sige. Wow, okay. So, 17 ang correct. Okay. Okay. So, tama po. So, Java's original name was Oak. Hindi po Ruby or Green. Okay, Green was the project. Okay. Next po tayo. Ready ulit? May leaderboard nga pala. Okay. Wow, okay. Parang halos the same level pa rin tayong lahat. Sige, may leading pala si John. Okay, John ang fastest. Okay. Next question. Pwede pang umabot. Laki ng points agad no, 966. Okay. Sige, 2 of 5. Ready? Nangyari. Lang. 2 of 5 na ba? Ay, sorry. Wait lang. Next. Okay, sorry. Hindi ko na-enter. Back. Ayan. Okay, question number 2. Java celebrates last year its pang-ilang birthday. Kung alam niyo kung kailan siya na-release, alam niyo din ang kanyang birthday last year. Pero may music to, no? Okay, 25th. Yes, okay, correct. 25th ang kanyang celebrated birthday last year. Silver ng Java. Okay, let's see our leading leaderboard ang tawag pala. Okay, sino nangunguna? Si John na Ray. Okay. Sige, habol ko si John. Sige. Next question. Question number 3. Okay. Which command invokes the Java virtual machine? One of two lang yan. Nasa nabanggit ko na tama. Okay? Which command? Okay, nakakalito yan ano. Okay, it's Java. Okay, yung una Java C, siya yung sa compilation, di ba? Siya yung gagawa ng class file. Once nyo yung Java, siya naman ang mag-invoke ng Java virtual machine. Okay? So let's see who answered correctly. Talaga naman si John. Okay. Alright, may dalawang leading tayo. Si John at si Pinky. Sige. 4 of 5. Habol pa yung iba. Meron pang may oras pa. Basta makasagot kayo ng tama, ng mabilis. Mas lalaki ang inyong points. Okay, 4 of 5. Slogan. Ayan. What was the slogan of Java? Read once, write anywhere. Write once, run anywhere. Read once, run anywhere. Okay. So, marami namang nakasagot ng tama. Write once, run anywhere. Okay. So, sino yung mga nasa ating leading chart? Okay. Bumabalik si John Ray. Okay. Okay. Habol pa, habol pa. Last question na tayo. Okay. Okay. Last question. Who is considered the father of Java? Dami yung estudyante nagkakamali dyan. Kapag nag-exam kami, okay. Meron kaya magkakamali? Meron nga. Okay, si James Gosling. Hindi si Ryan Gosling. Si Ryan Gosling yung actor, di ba? Okay. So, let's see kung sino ang ating winner. Uy, merong may nakatalo ba kay John? Hi, si John Ray. Congratulations, John Ray. Paki-screenshot. Okay, parang mine lang. Please screenshot, SSD lang. Okay, tapos paki-message sa amin sa chat kung sino ka talaga. Di namin alam ang iyong full name. So, we'll think about kung ano yung pwede namin ibigay na prize sa'yo. Okay, pero don't expect hindi siya pera. Okay. Sige. Thank you so much for participating sa ating a short quiz. Ayan. Pwede top 2. Kasi naman top 2. Okay, pag screenshot nila lang sila Celeste or Ma'am Cindy, paki-screenshot yung buong ranking natin. Malay nyo, baka pwede tayong top 3. Pag-isipan namin. Okay.
Yan, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Sige. So, since malapit naman na tayong mag-break sa 2:30, and sakto lang kasi yung next part natin would be dun sa object-oriented programming na. Hindi pala, program control structures na yung next na topic natin. So, we'll go into a 15-minute break. Okay na ba tayo, Ma'am Cindy? Mag-break muna?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Sige, break na muna tayo. So, you can grab your coffee or whatever. Okay. So, yun. I'll see you after, anong oras niyo na?
2:22 po.
2:22. So, after 15 minutes, anong oras tayo magsa-start ulit? Mga 2, pwede bang 2:40? Ganon? Sige, we'll start na ng 2:40 na, Ma'am Cindy.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll see you guys after 2:40. Okay, so hindi ako nag-video kasi baka mamaya magka-problema naman ang Zoom, pero I will try. Ayan, hello. Okay, ngayon ako nag-video ulit. Takot ako ba nang nag-hang na naman si Zoom. So anyway, I'll see you 2:40 ulit. See you guys. You don't have to leave the meeting. You just wait na lang ulit na mag-start. 2:40. Thank you.
Hel- Hello? Hello everyone? Naririnig po ba ako?
Yes, Celeste.
Hello? Okay na ba? Can we start ulit?
Hello? Ah,
Hi, Celeste.
we invite everyone to be a member of the Mathematical Society of the Philippines, or MSP. It is the Philippines' premier professional organization dedicated to the promotion of mathematics research and education in the country. It is governed by a national board of directors elected by the general membership, and it has regional chapters throughout the country. As a member of the CAR, Region 1 and 2 chapter, you automatically become a member of the National MSP, and likewise, the Southeast Asian Mathematical Society, or SEA-MS. For those who are interested to apply or renew their membership, you may visit the membership from a form through the following link. Mm. The membership fee and the deposit accounts are indicated there. Once you have paid your membership fee, please secure a copy of your receipt. You will upload it as a proof of your payment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Celeste. I think we can proceed ulit dun sa ating second part. Okay, so sana nakuha niyo na inyong mga kape sa inyong mga desks. Okay, so we'll continue on with the next part of our session. Okay. So let me just screen share ulit. Naku, sana hindi na naman magka-problema. Okay. Okay, nakikita ba yung aking screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, again, balik tayo dun sa ating contents. We are now done with the programming part, the Java and why Java, the demo, or yung first natin na encounter sa mga beginners sa Java programming. And now we continue on dun sa ating program control structures. Okay, so ito basically is hindi lang to for Java. This is a control structures that is being used to any programming language. So, well, hindi naman lahat siguro, pero once you get to know these three control flow structures or kung paano ba control ang flow of execution ng inyong programs, then parang you're good to go in sa mga ibang programming languages. Okay? So, let's go first dun sa ating mga definitions. Okay, so nagbigay na rin ako ng mga sample snippets of codes dun sa ating tatlong control flow structure. So, ano ba ang control flow? Ito yung order in which the statements are executed in a program. So, as you can see, and from the name itself, sequential, selection, and repetition, pag sinabi niyong sequential, ito yung sunod-sunod lang. Okay, line per line, walang fork or ganyan. Basta dire-diretso lang siya. And you can see this example here where we have two numbers, sum A plus B, and then kukunin yung average, and then print the value of average. Okay, so medyo simple lang yung kanyang flow. Pagdating sa selection, there are different types of selection kasi if else, yung pinaka simple na selection is yung dalawa lang, if and else. So, kung nagfo-flowchart kayo, yung mga familiar sa flowcharting, ito yung diamond symbol pagdating sa flowchart, wherein dapat may question kayo sa loob, which is answerable by yes or no, or 1 or 0, and then it will go to a different path. So, ganun din ang selection. Although dito, nag-shortcut na ako, nagbigay ako ng um, multi-path, multi-selection, wherein meron akong if na first, kapag nag-true yung aking condition sa loob ng if, pupunta siya sa first, dun sa ating x is positive. Kapag dito naman siya naging true, else, ibig sabihin x is less than 0, it will print negative. And then else, ibig sabihin, hindi nag-true either of this, then x is 0. Okay, so this is parang an optional na mga statement. So hindi lahat ng magpiprint sa screen. It will only print kapag true yung condition or kapag sinagot natin or yung lumabas na sagot dun sa question, dun sa ating if or else if na statements are true, saka lang ito lalabas. Okay, so of course, again, mas magandang nakikita natin siya sa quotes, no? So, sige, gawitin na natin si welcome the job para hindi na ito maiba. Okay. So, para hindi tayo I'll just get rid of the other magulong part yan, mga ibang comments. Although if you want to have a copy of this, we can give you a copy of the codes, mga compilation of codes that I'm using para may practice din kayo. Okay. So, sabihin natin, yung una natin na example which is yung sa average. Okay. So, ang nabanggit ko kanina was you need to declare variables sa code. So, what is variables? Variables, sulat ko lang. Variables. Okay, so variables, isipin nyo siya as data containers. Okay, so dito nyo nilalagay lahat ng data na gusto nyo gamitin sa inyong code. So, yung data or yung mga variables na to, they also have a certain type. Okay, so kailangan meron kayong mga types na kailangan i-declare before the variables, which is, so int is just one of them. So, labi ko lang. Data type could be int, could be, again, hindi lahat ng programming languages have this, pero more or less, yung iba meron. Int, double, ano ba ba? So Java have the special string, okay? And then, diba, int, double, character, isang character lang. And then float, okay? So, pwede pa i-extend to, pero these are the basic ones. Okay. So, integer is, nakaka-store to ng, may certain hindi ko memorize, pero may certain number of data na pwedeng i-store sa bawat type na to. Okay, so, kung numbers na ang pag-uusapan at walang decimals, you can use int. Okay, if you need decimals, then you need double or yung float. Okay, if you want to store characters, yung mga ABCD or symbols, you use char, yung single lang. And then string, of course, we know the string, yung mga ganitong strings. Okay. So, we'll use yung ating variables na A and B kanina, which is A. Again, because this is a statement, we need to put a semicolon. Tama? Okay. So, next, we need 2. Kasi nga, dalawang numbers yung ating values. Pero, let's say, initialize na natin. Okay. Sabihin na natin. And then, int B would be 20. Okay? So, these are the two variables that we will be using sa ating code. So, A and B. So, kung mapansin nyo, sa Eclipse, kasi medyo maarte, pero it will flag you or will give you some messages here. And then it will tell you that the value of the local variable A is not used. So, yung mga ganito na, na symbols, hindi naman yan error. Okay? It's just a warning na reminding you, hindi mo nagamit yung variables na to. Which is very helpful din kasi this will help clean up your code. Kasi kung hindi mo to ginamit yung A and B anywhere sa preceding code mo or sa inyong program, then useless siya. It's better na tanggalin mo na lang. Okay? Anyway, gagamitin naman natin siya. So, we need 2 more variables, the sum and average. So, sabihin natin sum. Okay. Mas malaki kasi ang, sige, int pa rin si sum, pero si average ay meron ng decimal value. So, assuming na yung ating values are decimal value. But anyway, mas malaki yung kanyang scope, so we can put it as a double. and then declare ave. Okay, so again, yung sabi ko kanina sa naming conventions natin, variable name should start with small letters. Okay. Ngayon, paano kapag gusto ko ng 2 words? Let's say, ang gusto ko variable is average number. Yun yung kahaba-habang average number. Pwede naman. Okay? But the naming convention is we have a term called camel case, wherein yung average starts with a small letter and then yung next na word starts with a big case. So parang malaman mo na these are 2 words. Okay? So you can use also these types of variable names. Okay? So marami pang pwede. Ang hindi lang pwede is mag-start sa I'm not mistaken, number. Yeah. Yan. So magreklamo reklamo siya na hindi ka dapat nag-start ng variable with numbers. Okay. So next. So of course, we already know the formula for sum. A plus B. Oops. Okay. So take note kasi it is case sensitive. So yung B na big letter B dyan is not the same as the small letter B. Okay, those are considered as 2 different variables. And take note, pag meron akong linagay na variable na hindi ko na-declare, of course, sasabihin din yan kaagad ni Eclipse. You cannot be result of variables. So you need to declare it first. Anyway, sige. Yan ang B. Next, so what's happening in this line of code is that we have 2 numbers, meron na tayong initial values, A and B, and then we store the sum in the container na sum. Okay. So, again, we are using sequential ha. Sequential pa lang tayo. Average num gets sum over 2. So, medyo, anyway, again, sum over 2. And then finally, we will print yung ating value. So, isang magandang, I'm getting ahead of myself, yung tawag na method, ay operator overloading. Wait, let me just show you quickly. Average, yan, lahat ng nasa double quote ay magpiprint, remember? Pero, since meron akong variable, which is nandito, yung average num, hindi siya string, di ba? Hindi siya string na average num. Isa siyang data container. So, what I can do is add or append dun sa aking string, which is a symbol of plus. So makikita nyo yung difference, di ba? Plus here and then average num. Yung plus na to, yan, is meron siyang ibang operation or iba yung ginagawa niya as compared sa plus na ginamit dito. So here kasi, ginamit siya using or within dalawang 2 numbers. So alam niya na, i-add niya yung numbers na yun. Pero yung plus na ito, na ginamit ko na operator sa aking string. Okay? So ginamit ko sa string, ibig sabihin is i-append ko whatever value na nandito dun sa aking unang string. Okay? So, yan yung isang inuunahin ko na, pero that is one of the ideas of polymorphism. Okay? So, yan yung mga core concepts ng Java. Okay. So, ngayon, nagawa na natin yung sequential. Of course, we have to run to make sure it's working. Again, press nyo yung run. Here we go. Okay. 14. Tama ba? 28 by 2, yes, 14. So, mapapansin nyo, meron na siyang decimal value. Ngayon, bahin natin ang konti. Gawin natin 1. Save ulit, then run. Okay, 14. Tama ba? 20. Ay, okay. Bahin natin. Average num. Nine. 1. Nagkakan ba siya? But, okay. Tama ba? Average num. Bakit ganun? Ay, nag-print yung totoong value. Let's try float. Am I doing something weird? Ayaw din. There's something weird here. Okay, anyway, basta ang idea kapag sa float and sa double is that it will reveal yung decimal, which is not weird. Okay. Nakakaalam ba? Mga chat dyan. Okay. So let me know. Pero the idea is ganun. Okay, so double and float has a higher data, tawag doon, mas malaki yung kanyang pwede niyang ilagay na numbers. Okay. Anyway, ang gusto na natin pakita dito is this is a sequential type of flow. So wala tayong, or lahat ng ating statements is ginawa niya dun sa ating mean method. Okay. So next step is yung sa sequential, which is yung if-else. So dun sa example kanina is we are simulating a x or checking that x is either positive, negative, or 0. Okay. So ibahin, ibahin natin ng konti yung ating code. Okay, so si x daw. X is a number, whatever value that is, let's say 5. Okay. And then meron tayong if-else statements. So ang magandang coding convention if you're coding, mapansin nyo kasi once I write yung open bracket or open parenthesis, meron nang i-auto-generate si Eclipse na closing bracket para hindi mo daw makalimutan. Okay? So which is maganda rin para nga mabilis ka na rin mag-code. Okay? So if ang ating logic or ating question is if x is greater than 0, okay? Open close bracket, although follow na lang natin exactly yung nandun sa ating presentation. Then we will print. Ano yung print natin? Print tayo na x is positive. Okay. So, kung mapapansin nyo, yung if statement na to, if this is true, then it will do this. Okay? And then, if it's not true, ito yung mga simple na if-else. If it's not true, then x is negative. So, ito yung pinakasimpleng if-else statement or yung ating selection. So, ito, hindi niya gagawin or hindi niya ipiprint yung second kapag ito ay kapag ito ay true. Okay? So, let me just run this para makita nyo na hindi ako nagsasabi. Okay. X is positive. So, if the number is a positive number, then it will print yung first line lang. Okay? And then, kapag yung x is negative, then, yan. Gawin natin itong negative. Okay, run this again. Yeah. So, yung second na yung lalabas. So, take note, kapag meron tayong mga ganitong mga statement or the conditional statements, then, hindi niya gagawin lahat ng code nito. So, yung if-else ang ating control. So, let's follow yung isa pa. Okay, so you can have multiple if-else, 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 if. Pwede yan. Pwedeng madami. Kahit gano'ng kadami ang gusto nyo. So, yung ating condition was, if x is less naman than 0, x is negative, and then finally, we have yung isa pang else, which is 0. I dispute yan, you know. Ano ba ang 0? Is it negative or positive? Sige nga. Masama. Okay. Let's try this. So, let's say ito ay 0. Run this. Okay. So, tama. Hindi siya negative, hindi din siya positive. It is 0. So, this is just an example. Okay. So, meron tayong nag-comment about dun sa question ko kanina. Yan. Thank you, Marvin. Pag double din po yung sum, lalabas actual average. Okay. So, balikan natin ng konti. By the way, sige. I-copy-paste ko to dun sa those who want to have a copy of this. Paste bin ulit. Very useful itong paste bin natin. Yan, medyo, ayan. Okay, so ito, raw file na ganyan. So, pwede ko na siyang i-syntax highlight. Pwede yung, i-highlight using a language. So, I'll just share this para makita nyo. Or you want to try this sa inyong Eclipse also. So, balik tayo dito. Okay, gusto ko i-try yung sinasabi ni Sir Marvin daw. Okay, let's just do an undo. Balikan natin yung original code na sum para lang makita natin. Can we try this? Double sum. Ano natin? 8994. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sir Marvin. So, dapat pala sum din ay double. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Yep. Okay. Anyway, hindi ko na ito i-copy-paste bin ha. Okay, next na tayo dun sa medyo mas interesting. Yung ating loops. Okay, so ito yung mga, maraming kinds of loops. So, hindi ako naglagay ng actual snippets, pero yung mga structures na usually ginagamit for loops or repetitions are yung mga while, and then may condition, then followed by your body, or yung do while. Do while is, ang pagkakaiba niya sa while statements or while na structure is that it will always it will do the statements once, lagi. Okay. Sabi ni Fernand, sorry may mga nakakita ako sa chat. So, sa NetBeans daw, okay daw yung int. Ang ginamit mo na data type for sum. Talaga. Hindi ko talaga mawari kung bakit ganun. Anyway, sige. I'll na lang, the answer later kung mahanap ko kung bakit. Okay. So, anyway, balik tayo dito sa while. So, while statement, sa do while, it will do the statement once. Ibig sabihin kasi sa do while, wala ka pang condition sa una. So, ang condition mo is nasa hulihan. So, gagawin mo yung statements. Kapag ito naging true, and then gagawin mo ulit yung statement. Kung hindi, lalabas ka na dun sa loop. Okay. Next naman is yung pinaka-famous. Pero ito yung pinaka-mas maikli na loop structure, which is yung for. So, dito kasi na yung initialization, yung condition, and then yung end. Okay, so let's try to give another example for each of these. So, balik tayo sa NetBeans. Okay, sorry ginagamit ko na. Nire-use ko na yung welcome class. Anyway, okay lang yan. Okay, so let's try let's try ako mabilis. First natin would be counter. Ayan, paulit-ulit. Counter, pero yung counter natin, yung sum niya, ay isa-save natin. Okay? So, sorry, copy-paste na ako. Copy-paste ko ulit dun sa mamaya. So, ito, so you can see I have two variables, yung sum and yung counter. Again, integer. So, yung while structure ko, ito yung first natin na type of loop. No? Yung while ko, andito yung aking condition. So, similar din siya sa if-else na condition wherein ito will be answered only by yes or no. Parang may logic to logic na answering. Yes or no lang ang magiging sagot nito. Kapag yes, it is less than or equal to 10, then it will do whatever is inside the bracket. Okay, so ito yung body niya. So, gagawin niya to hanggang sa maging false yung ating condition. Okay, so paano magiging false yon? So dapat yun yung tricky part kasi kailangan meron kang way to stop this. Kasi minsan nakakalimutan na i-stop. Ang mangyayari, forever nang naglo-loop ito. Okay? So, in this case, ang aim kasi natin is to store yung value or yung sum. Yung counter natin, I mean, kunwari magka-count ka from 1 to 10, lahat ng sum from 1 to 10, i-store mo siya sa variable na sum. Okay? So, mapansin nyo, ginamit ko ulit si sum na variable dito. So, sum gets yung previous value ni sum plus yung counter, which is ito. So, since we have the next line, which is counter plus plus, ang ibig sabihin nito, ang equivalent lang yan is counter, similar to sum is equal to counter plus 1. Okay? So, yan yung equivalent na code ng counter plus plus. Okay? So, yan yung mga shortcuts ng Java. Counter plus plus. Yung sa C, meron din. Okay. So, ito yung expected natin na output na ilalabas niya yung sum ng 1 to 10. Tama ba? 1 is equal to 10. And then, yung counter ko, mag-a-add ng 1. So, itong part na to, ito yung nagpo-control kung kailan magiging false yung inyong counter. So, tama ba? Counter is less than okay. So, once nag-reach yung counter ng kailan? 11. Okay? So, pag naging 11 na yung value nito, is it still less than or equal to 10, which is false, and then it will exit. Okay? So, again, kita lang natin yan kapag nirun ulit natin siya. Okay, so, I'll just run this. Okay, 55. Tama ba yun? 1 to 10, 55. Okay, so that's correct. And then, as you can see, yung counter, which is yung last na value niya is 11. Kung saan, kung kailan nag-false yung ating logic. Okay? So, yun. Yun yung isang way para, ito yung isang structure ng iteration. Okay. So, let's do naman a do while. So, medyo iba naman para gawa tayo ng iba-ibang programs. Okay, sige, paste ko pala muna to. Sorry, ilagay ko ulit sa paste bin. Na-access niyo pa ba yung previous story? Na-access niyo pa ba? Kasi parang ginagawa ko ng, hindi naman siya nag-overwrite. Hindi naman. This is Java. Okay. Yeah. So, yung sa first natin na while, so, balikan natin ito. Balikan naman natin ng do while. Okay. So, nag-shortcut ako, nagdo-do while, nagka-copy-paste na rin ako para mabilis na din. Okay. So, ito. Do while, mapapansin yung structure, do, kasi yung word na do, followed by open bracket, and then yung ating body, or whatever you want to, anong command, whatever statement that you want to do. And then, kung mapapansin nyo, kanina yung counter plus plus ay nasa, of course, nasa loob din ng while, ito naman ang counterpart niya. Ito, ang ginamit niya dito is y. So, y is equal to y plus 1, pero of course, I can always do this then. Okay, so same lang yan. And then, yung aking logic or yung aking question, whether to stop or not, yung aking loop is nandito, which is y is less than 5. Okay, so what this program is expected to do is that it should print yung ating asterisk ilang times. 5 or 4. Okay, so anyway, nag-start tayo sa 0. So expected dapat 5. Okay? So again, i-print niya yung value ng y at the end. Okay, so let's run this again. Okay, so running. Makita niyo sa console. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 asterisk. Yeah. So y is equal to 5. So tama. Ngayon, ito, Huwag nyo i-confuse na plus palagi or laging 1 ang increment. Pwede naman na y is equal to y plus 2. Oops, y plus 2. Pwede din ganyan. Okay na, every 2, mag-iiba ka ng ng increment. Okay, so which means, of course, ma-reduce yung number of printing ng asterisk. Okay? So, yeah. Okay, so if you have questions, just put me sa chat kung ayaw nyo magsalita. You can always interrupt me if there's something you want to ask or you want to verify. Lalo na yung mga sumusunod dito sa aking code. Okay, kung masyado mabilis, let me know then. Okay. So, ito na yung sa do while. Let me just quickly share this again. Ma'am Cindy, pa-check naman. Na-access pa rin ba yung yung mga pinopost ko na link? Kahit na parang feeling ko pinapatungan ko siya.
Yes, ma'am. Hindi naman
Access pa.
po overwrite.
Okay. Sige, good. So, forever na pala ito. Ako pala ito matatanggal. Wala namang sinabi ng days. Kaya ba? Wala ata. Meron nga. Never. Okay, sige. Never na lang. Sige, para ma-access niyo pa rin. Okay. So, yung kanina, pala nililabel ko. Okay. Saan na? Ay, tinanggal ko. Sorry. Okay. So, Java. So, yung mga nagtuturo ng ng computer or coding, ito, pwede nyo rin gamitin. Pinopromote ko ng mga tools. Menti, Pastebin. Okay, nakikita ko rin dito sa mga sa mga seminar na attendan ko. Okay. Next. Okay, for loop na tayo. So, okay, presentation. Okay. So, the last one is 4. So, andito yung ating structure. So, 4 is nasa loob. May tatlong kailangan yung set sa loob ng 4 parentheses, which is yung initialization, yung condition. Ito na yung question natin na parang so while, and then we have the end, which is kung paano ba siya mag-reach yung ating end. Okay, so again, let's go back sa Eclipse. So, magandang for loop would be, diba? So, let's translate na lang ito. 4. Int. Okay, pwede ako mag-declare ng variables dito mismo sa loob. Okay. I equal to 0. Ito yung mga usual na ginagamit. I is less than, so sabihin natin si y na initially, sinet natin na 10. I is less than y. Okay. And then, para ma-reach natin yung end is yung ating counter. Okay. So, what will we do sa ating body is parang yung kanina din. Mag-print din siya ng asterisk, but we don't need this one already. Okay? So, tanggalin na natin yan. So, ito. Okay? So, yun. So, we have the for loop. Again, this is yung aking initialization, yung aking condition, and then yung ating iteration or ating counter. Okay, so again, pwede akong mag-iba dyan, pero we will test muna. Let's see how many times mag-print yung aking asterisk. Supposedly 10. Okay, so tama. This is 10. So mga usual, challenging machine exercise ang tawag namin. Yung mga exercises sa lab namin was paano ka mag-print using for loop. Alam to ng mga estudyante ko. paano ka mag-print na something like this? Yan. If given ka ng value na equal to 3, 3 which is the number of rows. So, paano ka mag-print na ganitong triangle? Or kung 4, hindi mo dudugay na isang linya. So, yun yung mga challenge namin na usually binibigay sa mga estudyante. Or yung mas, kung gusto nyo na mas challenging pa, how do you print yung hollow? Yung walang laman sa loob. Ganyan. Okay. So, yung mga challenges na pwedeng paggawa din sa mga students nyo when you're using loops. Okay? So, punta na tayo sa, nasa na tayo? Balik ko na tayo sa slides. So, program structure, again, sabi ko kanina, these are not just for Java. This can also be used sa ibang programming languages like C, or ano ba, C++, mga iba pa. Okay. May question ba? Okay, yun. That's good again. Okay, so natapos na tayo sa control flow. Medyo malapit na lang tayo matapos. Okay, so we'll look at the Java fundamentals, or yung OOAD, or yung object-oriented analysis, analysis and design. Diba? And then encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So ito, parang mas maganda kasi makikita nyo yung example kaysa sa sinasabi ko lang yung concept. Okay, but of course, we'll define what these are kasi important na maintindihan nyo pa rin yung mga terms na ginagamit sa mga yan. Okay. So, si Jaon, yung kaninang section break. Sorry, tapos na yung break. Ayan. OOAD, Object-Oriented Analysis and Design. Ang pag-usapan dyan is yung mga terms na object, attributes, behavior, methods, and classes, and instantiation. So, medyo mouthful itong mga to, no? Parang mga kakaibang terms. Pero, mas maintindihan nyo siya kapag once nasanay kayo na lagi siyang binabanggit. Of course, siya kayong naiintindihan nyo talaga yung idea, what is behind these concepts. Pero ito is, hindi naman siya ganun kahirap intindihan because ang kagandahan kasi sa Java, they want to simulate the real world scenario. So, makikita niyo yan mamaya. Okay. Sa OOAD, ang pinaka-core natin or yung ating keyword dyan ay object. Okay? When you say object, anything that is tangible or intangible. So, yun ang kagandahan pag sa Java. Pwede kayong mag-code, of course, yung mga usual, student, pwede mong gawa ng object. A table, may object, automobile, yung mga classic examples. And then, pwede din yung mga intangible, like, intangible example, love, yan. Yung mga, pwede nyo gawa ng program for love, o diba? Yung mga attributes tsaka methods, operations din para sa pag-ibig, di ba? So, pwede kayong gumawa ng program using Java for that. Okay. So, ang idea kapag sa object is that it must comprise of data and operations. And yung operations na to, ito yung magmamanipulate ng data natin. So, for example, ito yung classic example ko sa estudyante, yung ATM, kasi napaka-familiar sa kanila, di ba? Yung labasan ng baon. Okay. So, yung ATM nyo is, may mga attributes tayo. Of course, yung ATM mismo na physical it can be big, can be small, it can be color red, color blue, mga ganun. Pero importante yung attribute na gusto ko ilagay dito is money. Okay, so dapat may laman na pera. Yun yung data natin sa loob ng ATM. And then, of course, we need yung mga methods para i-manipulate yung ating pera. So, we have yung deposit, yung withdrawal, tsaka yung core balance. Okay, so these are the methods. So, in this form, or ito yung thinking natin na kapag gumagawa tayo ng program for something, or whatever problem, we can think of them as in this way. Now, we need to think of ano yung data na kailangan doon. And then, ano yung mga methods or yung mga manipulations mo na kailangan mo for those data. Okay? So, punta tayo ngayon sa class. Kasi yung class na encounter natin kanina, doon sa code natin, yung container ng inyong code is a class. Okay, so ano bang ibig sabihin nun? Yung class natin is a template which dictates what objects can I cannot do. So yung ginawa natin kanina kasi actually mga ano lang yan Hindi pa yun yung OOP mismo. So, parang pinakita ko lang kung ano yung itsura ng Java syntax na pwede niyong gawin. But kung talagang strictly following objected or object-oriented, we have a structure that we have to follow. Okay? So, yung classes na to is kung saan yun yung magdidikta kung ano yung mga kayang gawin at hindi kayang gawin ng isang object. So, sa class, makikita nyo dyan yung mga nasabi ko dito, which is yung money, deposit, withdraw, inquiry balance. So, lahat ng ito, makikita nyo din sa inyong class. Okay? And to be able to create an object, we must provide a definition called class. So, in other words, kailangan mag-declare kayo ng excuse me, public class ATM. Okay, so ganun yun. So, ano yung methods? Kanina, ang unang method lang na ginagamit natin was yung main. Okay, kung saan nag-start lahat ng execution or yung running ng inyong code. So, yung methods na to is you can create your own and ito yung mga usual na ano yung gagawin ng inyong object. Okay? So, it can perform tasks, it can return information when they complete their task. Wait, sorry, typo. Okay, so anong itsura ng ating ATM class? Okay, so naglagay ako ng location. But anyway, ignore nyo na lang yung location dyan. Ang importante dyan is yung money. So, dapat int yun. Ay, hindi ko na na-edit. Anyway, si ATM class ay meron tayong int money, para madali. And then, meron tayong mga methods of deposit, withdraw, and inquire. So, maalala nyo kanina, di ba, mga variables, naglagay tayo ng data types, yung mga int, data, int, double, float, and all that. Ngayon, pwede din, yung mga ating methods, pwede nyo din lagyan ng data type. Which means na, pag naglagay kayo ng data type dyan, may expected siyang i-return na value. So, kung int ito, int then, si int withdrawal, may babalik din siya na integer value. So, kapag void, ibig sabihin ng void, wala. Okay? So, wala lang. I-call mo lang yung ating method na yan. Okay. So, next na idea or yung ating concept is instantiation. So, ito yung instantiation na to is when you build the object of a class. So, usually, makikita to when you use the word new. Okay? So, makikita natin yan. Ano yung new? Yung new is, you are creating, ibig sabihin yan is you're creating an instance of that class. Okay? Parang, for example, sa ATM. So, ATM ay isang class. Isang template lang yan. Okay? Wala pa siyang totoong, hindi pa siya nabubuo talaga. Then, nag-declare ako ng my ATM. So, si my ATM is a variable of class ATM, pero in-instantiate ko siya as ATM. So, pwede ko nang magamit si my ATM using yung mga methods ni class ATM. Malabo ba? Basta, ang ibig kong sabihin is, si my ATM na ito is, pag na-instantiate ko siya using this new ATM and parenthesis, pwede ko nang magamit yung mga deposit, withdrawal, inquire, and all that methods. And pwede ko na din ma-access yung mga data niya sa loob. Okay, so I hope medyo naging clear yun. Anyway, magiging clear yan kapag once na nag-code tayo. Okay. Okay, ito na pala yung ating code. So, balik tayo sa ating Eclipse. Okay, so pakita ko muna yung code natin. So, kanina, sabi ko na, we will declare a class ATM. Yung class ATM natin has a data which is yung double money. And yung data natin na to is yun yung gagalawan or yun yung i-manipulate natin with the other methods. So we have withdraw, inquire, and deposit. And mapapansin nyo, ginagamit natin lahat yung money na variable. Okay? So sa withdraw, of course, ang ginagawa naman withdraw is ibibigay mo kung ano yung amount na gusto mong i-withdraw. So yung nasa loob dito ng method is called the parameters. So dito kayo magpapasok ng data or ng amount. Is kunwari, 5 pesos. So, may bang mag-withdraw ng 5 pesos. And then, ang mangyayari doon is si money na nandito. So, initially, sabihin natin, meron siyang initial na 500. 500 minus kung ano yung amount mo. So, matitira na lang dyan is 495. Okay? And then, of course, mag-print siya. So, parang maisip niya yung kung ano yung, parang ganito yung easiest way to imagine, no? Kung ano yung nangyayari talaga sa isang totoong ATM. And we actually are simulating in a real ATM. Okay? And then sa inquire, of course, is inquire lang is printing lang naman kung ano yung existing balance mo. So, mapansin nyo dito, wala naman akong ipapasa na value. So, it's empty sa loob ng parenthesis. And then, it just prints kung ano yung balance. And then, sa deposit, again, we need an amount kasi kung ano yung ibibigay mo dun sa ATM. Okay? But this time, dun sa ating computation, dun sa money na existing natin, which is nandun sa taas, is added dun sa amount na ibibigay ng tao. Okay? Again, print. Para lang may ma-check kung ano yung naipasok. Okay. So, let's try to do that sa ating Eclipse. Okay, so mas maganda, yung ka nang gamitin yung welcome to Java. We'll create a new class. New class. Call it, ano yan? ATM. Okay. Mas simple, ATM. Okay. Yan, automatic ulit na ginagawa ang ATM. And then, okay, sorry for guys, I am going to copy-paste ulit. Okay, nakopy ulit yung public class. Okay, double. Yan. Okay. So you can see ATM, ating variable, ating data. Okay, so pagdating sa Java kasi, meron tayong tinatawag na getters and setters. So ito yung parang standard ng Java na whenever you declare a data, dapat meron kang way para get siya at iset siya. Okay? So ito yung convention na basta meron sa Java talaga. And anyway, you can get away with this. Pero parang maganda na rin na lagi siyang dinadagdag. And ang kagandahan nito sa Eclipse ay i-right-click mo lang kung ano yung variable na yon and meron na siyang pwedeng automated na paggawa. Which is, for example, tanggalin ko muna to. Auto-generated yan. So, right-click, go to source. Okay, so source, mapansin nyo, generate getters and setters. Okay, so again, ulitin ko, mga gustong sumunod, whatever variable or data that you have there sa iyong class, go to that, right-click mo yung variable, go to source, and then generate getters and setters. Then it will generate kung ano yung ito. So get money, set money. Ang ginagawa niyang convention, mapapansin nyo, money, small letter, pero big letter dun sa get siya set. Okay. So yun yung ating camel case convention. Okay, so yan, dinagdag niya na yung dalawang code. Okay, so next, ito ginawa na natin. So the withdraw, inquire, and then deposit. Okay, so let's just save that. So ito, automatically kasi si Eclipse, kapag nagsisave, nagbe-build din siya. So nakikita mo na kagad yung errors if ever man meron. So at this moment, wala. Uy, meron. Ano to? Anong sabi niya? Okay. Sige. So si ATM, ito na yung class natin for ATM. Diba? Pero kung mapapansin nyo, wala tayong main method. Diba? So how do we use it? How do we use this class? Walang main. So of course, you have to create another main. So what I do usually, although pwede ko yung gawin to sa same file, pero para mas malinis, it's a good practice na rin siguro, is to create another class. Okay? Another class. And then I usually call this ATM demo. Okay, so kung anong object siya, demo class. Okay, so dito ko magde-demo ng whatever na gagamitin ko para sa class na yun. Okay, so sa demo class, dito, kailangan nyo na yung main method. So, ito, hindi nyo ito ma-memorize ng agad-agad, pero public static void, actually, I don't. Na-auto-generate ko to. String words. Yan. Okay. And then body. So, yun ang kagandahan. Again, open bracket, automatic na generate yung close bracket ni Eclipse. Okay. So, nasa main na tayo. And then, I will create an instance of the ATM class. ATM, remember yung aking syntax kanina, gets new. ATM, okay, so here, I created an instance of my ATM. So using yung my ATM na variable, I can access the other methods. So, ito kagandahan ulit ng Eclipse. If I click on dot, ay yung dot na yan, makikita ko lahat ng methods na pwede kong gamitin for my ATM. Okay, so makikita niyo may mga extra. Ito hindi naman natin ginawa yung equals, hindi naman natin ginawa si get class, si hash code. Itong mga to ay implicit na. Okay, so they are, you can use them, of course, pero inherited kasi from the class object, wherein ang object ang pinaka sabihin natin ancestor of all the variable of all the objects, okay, all the things that you will create in Java. Anyway, so hindi naman kailangan, huwag naman gamitin, pero ang gusto kong ipakita dito is that yung ginawa natin kanina, yung get money, inquire, set money, mga yon can be accessed. Okay? So, my ATM, gawa na ako ng meron naman akong ready na sample dyan. Okay? So, si my ATM, set money. Okay? So, ang ginagawa natin, yung ating, ito ang una niyang kinol, yung set money. So, dalagay ako ng pera. So, yung this.money is a special word na pertaining to this one. Kasi if you can see, yung money na ginamit kong variable is the same as yung nandito din. So, parang confusing. Alin yung money na tinutukoy mo? So, that's why there is a this.money, which means ito yung local na money. And then yung money na to is yung pinasa mo money. But anyway, of course, pwede mong gawing money 1 to, okay lang naman. Pero anyway, ayun. So, ang ginawa natin una is to set yung value nung money to 10. So, nagkarga ka muna ng 10 initially. And then, nag-inquire ka. Okay? So, dapat nalabas niya 10. Tapos, mag-deposit ka ulit ng 40, inquire, and then withdraw ng 50. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, by the way, paano niya nakita si ATM? Wala naman akong dinagdag na include file, di ba? Wala naman akong linagay na look at atm.java. Walang ganon. Okay, so automatically, kapag nagko-compile, ito, yung mga classes na kailangan ng demo natin, hinahanap niya dun sa mismong folder, or in this case, sa package. Okay? Pag wala sa package, akit ulit siya. Okay? Kung saan man yung hierarchy ng kanyang directory. So in this case, nakita niya kasi it's in the same package. Okay. So si ATM, run natin yan. Wala. Okay. So balance is 10, correct? Updated amount is 50. Tama ba? And dito na tayo sa after deposit. Yan. And then balance is 50, withdrawn. Amount, baliktad naman kasi. Withdrawn amount, balikan natin yun. Withdrawn amount is amount. Or, hindi, balance na lang. Diba? Gawin na natin balance. Withdraw or remaining amount. Dito yan. Okay, remaining amount is equal to money. Ayan. Inquire balance is yan. Okay, run again. Then we have, yan. So, tama na yung wordings natin. Balance is 10 initially. Updated amount once you deposit yung ating 40. Then, balance is 50. Nag-inquire ka ulit. Nag-withdraw ka ng 50. Remaining amount is 0. Nag-inquire ka at 0. Okay? So, yun. So, this is a basic example of OOP, object-oriented. Okay, so, we have the object, ito yung mga methods natin, again, and then we manipulate yung ating data using ating methods. Okay? So that is the basic idea of OO. May questions ba so far? Demo. So nasa slides naman ito. Paki-share yung codes. Okay, sorry. Paki-share yung codes sa paste bin. This is actually, don't need to highlight, no? Right? Copy-paste din lang naman kayo. Sige. Paste na lang. Okay, so this is the atm.java. And yung aking demo. Sayang talaga, no? If hindi talaga pandemic, then you can come to Baguio and then, you know, do this sa lab. Sa lab ng home site. Okay, so this is and then oops. Okay, so yeah, nasa paste na. Ano pa? So any questions ba so far? So I hope no na medyo ano may idea na kayo kung ano yung ibig niyang sabihin sa objects na yan. Importante that you get that idea para mas madali kayong mag-program in the future in Java or even in C++. I don't know kung alam sa C++, pero ganun din naman, object-oriented ang C++. Okay, next. So we're done with the P encapsulation. Okay, so this is just an idea, yung encapsulation, kasi from the name encapsulation is in case, diba? So this is a good analogy, yung paglagay ng capsule. So yung capsule nyo is yung container, makapansin nyo dyan, is yung class, diba? So yung class is the container, yung variables and your methods ay nasa loob ng inyong class. And those are encapsulated in using a name, di ba? Kanina ang ginamit natin is ATM. So, kapag gumamit ako ng object like ATM, I'll just show you again the code. Okay, dito sa aking main method. Kung mapapansin nyo, hindi ko naman kailangan, kasi assuming na hindi ako ang gumawa ng atm.java, hindi ko kailangan maintindihan kung ano yung laman ng my ATM para magamit ko siya. All I need to know is that ito yung mga methods na pwede kong gamitin, and then I know kung merong, and then I should know para magamit ko siya kung meron akong expected na input or kung wala, like yung sa inquire. Okay? So that's the idea of encapsulation na isa rin kagandahan ng Java. So I'll just show you quickly sa namabilis ang internet. I'll show you the Java API, if you're familiar with this. Oops, Java. Java API. It is 7. Ako luma na to. Pero anyway, maganda kasi yung framing nito. Anyway, the idea of Java, kung mapansin nyo, ang dami niyang classes. Ang dami niyang classes na nagawa na. Okay? So these are all the classes that you can use for your code. So for example, if you are interested in using, let's say, files, okay? Marami nang nagawa na file classes. So for example, file reading, file reader. Yan. So if you want to read the file, yan, for example, you can use the file reader class, and then all you need to know, all you need to do is to read kung ano yung how to use it. Okay? So, hindi mo na alam. Actually, dito, hindi naman nakikita kung ano yung code sa loob ng file reader. Pero, alam mo kung ano yung expected na syntax or ano yung rules para magamit siya. So, here, to use file reader, kailangan meron kang file name. Parang ganon. Okay, so, marami pang iba. And this is growing. This is just Java 7. We are now at Java 14? 14 ba? Hindi ko na maalala. Pero, yun, malayo na ang narating ng Java as compared sa, when it comes sa classes. So, of course, maraming natanggal, maraming na-deprecate, or maraming outdated na. But since, nag-move na ang Java sa mobile, so ang dami ng mga classes na ginagamit for mobile. Okay? So, yun. So, just to show you what I mean of encapsulation. So, you don't need to know what is inside. You just know how to use it. Okay? So, yun yung idea ng encapsulation. So, hindi na information hiding. Okay? So, yung kagandahan ng Java din. Ganun pala. Okay. So, the next na concept is the inheritance. So, ito yung classic or one of the isa rin na pinaka-kagandahan ng Java is to be able to reuse code. Okay? And we reuse code by what we call as inheritance. So, yung inheritance na to, it saves us time in building other subclasses. Okay? So, for example, dito makikita nyo, we have an employee class. So, imagine nyo, what tayo na employee class, and then we have two types of employees, a doctor and a teacher. And then yung teacher, another subclass called an instructor. So, lahat ng code ni employee, pwede kong ipasa or pwedeng gamitin ni doctor at ni teacher. Okay? So, ganun din sa instructor. Si instructor, pwede niyang gamitin lahat ng nagawa na mga methods or mga data sa loob ni teacher at ni employee. So, yun yung mga ito yung mga tinatawag na ancestors niya. Okay? Excuse me. So, ang gamit nito, or ang tawag nito, ang term pala nito is yung mga superclass, which is kung saan tayo kumukuha ng data or ng yung mga existing classes natin. Sa C++, ang tawag is base class. So, ang subclass naman is derived class. Okay? Which can also be a superclass. So, ito yung nangyari, di ba? Ito, superclass ni instructor. Ito naman is subclass ni employee. Okay? So, a subclass can override or redefine the methods of the superclass, which is a part of what we will discuss mamaya, which is polymorphism. Pero for now, let's see how do we do inheritance. Okay? So, again, magandang makita to kapag nagko-code tayo. Okay, so let's make an instance of the employee. So let's start by creating employee, another class. Okay, so gamitin natin yung naming convention niya since parang hindi nakakalito. So the first one is employee. Okay. So class lang yan. So, ano ba yung mga meron sa employee? Salary. Okay, so, copy-paste. Para makasunod kayo. Anyway, we still have time. Salary. So, initialize natin sa 0. Wala muna. String. Company. Okay, kung saan siya nag-work. Okay, empty string or not. Pwede din. Okay, so, of course, again, gamitin natin ang magandang setter-getter ni Eclipse. Okay. Okay. Sa programming kasi ako, I like to put all my variables sa taas. Hindi in between ng mga codes kasi mahirap hanapin later. Kaya maybe it's a good a good practice to put all the variables at the beginning of your code. Okay, so setters, getters natin yan. So, we create our own methods. So, ano bang mga pwedeng, ano, sige, kahit yan lang muna. Yan lang. So, magsaset siya ng salary, mag-get siya ng, ng company, tsaka yung salary. Okay, save that. Sige. Kasi ko lang i-copy-paste ko na nga sa, sa paste bin. Again, you can always interrupt me pag may question kayo. So, employee.java. So, this is our base class, or ito yung ating super class. Create another one, which is, this is really bad program kasi hindi ko siya sina-structure. Anyway, just for demo. Okay, another class called, teacher. Okay, so teacher, yan. Okay, ito yung magic na gusto kong makita nyo. Si teacher, ay maglalagay lang ako ng isang method. Public void check papers. Favorite na ginagawa. Teachers yan. Nag-check ng papers. Okay. Ano ba na itong short? Ayan, shortcut pala yun ha. Sys out, yung pinindot ko, and then control space bar. Para hindi nyo kailangan i-type yung buong mahabang system.out.print line. Okay, so sabi ni teacher, I am checking. Okay. Yan. So, ito lang yung laman ni teacher. Pero, paano niya i-inherit? Balikan natin yung ating, yan. Paano niya i-inherit si employee? Okay, so there is a special word. Meron tayong word na ginagamit dyan, which is what we call as extends. Oops, wrong spelling. Extends. Okay? So, extends kung ano yung gusto niyang i-inherit, which is in this case, employee. Okay? So, using this special word na extends, you will be inheriting, our teacher will be inheriting all the data and methods from employee. Okay? So, you don't believe me? Anyway. Gawa tayo ng demo ulit para kapani-paniwala. Okay, gawa tayo ng isang class. Employee demo na lang. Okay, si employee demo ay dapat. Anyway, pwede pala kayo mag-click ng ng public. Meron doon option na i-add yung public static void main. Pwede itong i-generate. Diba yan? Okay, string parts. Yan. So, what I will do is to unahin natin? Teacher agad. Huwag na si employee. I make an instance of teacher. E1 gets new teacher. Okay. Sige, para, oops, so baka E1, yan. So, para ma-check natin, sige, call natin yung method ni teacher. Pero dito makikita nyo na. Okay? Nakikita nyo na pwede mo nang gamitin si get salary, get company, get class. Pero, sige, para true, you want that, ano yun? Ano yung method ni teacher? Teacher ay check paper. Okay, so since yung alam natin na method niya, check paper. Okay, yan mo na. Run. Okay, run. Yeah, so this is teacher. I am checking. Ngayon, pwede nating ma-access yung dalawang method dun sa employee. So which is T1 dot, sabihin natin, set salary. Oops. Set salary. Robot. Sabihin natin 2123. 20,000. Then, tama na ba yun? Nasweldo ng ano? Dami nga alma dyan. Okay. Get salary. Pero, okay, hindi ko siya ma-print. So, lagyan natin siya sa print. Is his outlet. Alam natin kung ano yung print niya. Salary is, again, method over, ano, operator overloading. Yan. So, okay. Yan. So, at this point, alam mong tama kasi sabihin ni Eclipse, wala kang error. Diba? So, of course, ito sa compile time, tama siya. Pero, is it right at runtime? So, check natin. Yes. Okay, so, ang nangyari, to explain this further, si teacher, na wala akong dineclare kundi si check paper na method, ay in-inherit ko yung mga methods ni employee. Okay? So, anong kagandahan nito? If you're saving time, di ba? If you're, let's say, ang employee mo ay marami kang type, 10, sabihin natin. And then, lahat naman sila pare-parehas na mayroong get company, set company. Hindi ko na kailangan i-copy-paste itong codes na ito doon sa bawat Java file or bawat class ng aking mga employees. Okay, so doon yung makikita yung kagandahan ng inheritance. You don't have to copy-paste or kumbaga na-reduce yung coding time if you have a structure na similar dun sa ating ganito. Okay? Okay, so paano naman kapag instructor? Diba? Para lang makita nyo. We still have time. Ma'am Cindy, hanggang oras tayo?
4:15, ma'am.
4:15. Oh, sige. We are, tama ba? 3:50 na?
3:53 po sa akin, ma'am.
Okay. Sige. Oh, may mga konting oras pa. We have only one topic to go, which is polymorphism. Okay. So, new class ulit. We'll create yung instructor. So, si instructor, ba kailangan i-inherit pa yung dalawa? Sa tingin nyo, ano ang dapat nandito? Okay? So, syempre, hindi kayo makasagot. Ako na lang sasagot. Okay. Ang i-extend lang niya is si teacher. Okay? So, pag ginawa niyo to, si teacher, which is already extending employee, is ipapasa na rin niya yung lahat ng methods kay instructor. Okay? So, si instructor, wala akong ilalagay dyan. And then, dun sa demo, okay? Sa demo, gawa yung instance ni instructor. Instructor I1 gets new instructor. And then, parang ganito din. I1. Instructor, sabihin natin 18 siya. Okay. So, let's run this. Okay, wala pa kasi integrator, Anyway. Instructor. Para lang, masaya. Teacher. Yeah. Okay, run. Okay. So, as you can see, si instructor also inherits kung anong na-inherit ni teacher. So, pwedeng madami yan. Maraming inheritance na nangyayari. So, balikan ako dun sa API. Tinose ko na ba? Sorry. Na-close ko na si API. Makikita nyo dito, makikita nyo kung ano yung hierarchy ng API nyo. Sana nandito. For example, ito. May subclass, default, ayan, extends object, implements. Okay, implements is another term, pero hindi ko na masyado in detail. Pero that's another way of inheritance. So, dito kasi, nag-inherit siya ng multiple na classes. So, hindi kasi pwedeng extends objects, extends cell editor, extends, ganyan. So, di pwede. So, isa lang ang pwede i-extend, which is yung object, and then implement cell editor, which is another class. So, parang nag-inherit siya kay object, nag-inherit siya kay cell editor. So, makikita niyo sa documentation ng inyong mga Java. So, yung mga ganun. Okay, implements row mapper, yan wala. Ay, ito pala, extends object, implements map. Okay? So, yan yung mga, ayan yung idea ng inheritance. Okay, so also a subclass can override the methods of the superclass, which brings us doon sa ating polymorphism. Okay, so ito yung last na idea or concept ng Java, which allows using the same, using the same name or method, and then iba yung gagawin niya. So, similar dun sa nabanggit ko kanina, yung plus sign, di ba? Yung plus sign ko, kapag numbers ang katabi niya na dalawa, o yung, syempre, i-plus niya, siya ay isang sum. Pero kapag string ang kanyang katabi, ang mangyayari doon is concatenation, which means dudugtong lang niya yung nasa right side doon sa left string. Okay? So, polymorph is having multiple forms and it is ability to assign a different meaning or usage to something in different context. So, dun sa ating inheritance kanina, we allow a superclass to define methods na are common to all of its derived classes. Yung ginawa natin, di ba, yung mga setters and getters natin, while allowing yung subclasses to specify additional implementation. So, isang way na makikita ang polymorphism is yung method overriding. So, when you say method overriding, ibalikan natin yung ating example on the teacher. Okay, so sa second and tayo, si check paper. Okay, so si check paper ay isang method under teacher. Okay, so medyo itong level tayo mag-focus. Okay, ngayon, si instructor, pwede ko siyang i-override. Override, gusto mo yung term na override, di ba? Override, ibig sabihin, papalitan mo yung kung anong gagawin. So instead, I'm just gonna use this again. Okay, so magde-declare ulit, oops. Declare ulit ako ng, side by side, para makita nyo. Isang check paper, same name, same, walang parameters. I am checking also. Okay? So, ito yung gagawin ni instructor. Okay? So, si teacher, pag si teacher ang kinol ko, ito ang i-print niya. Pero kapag si instructor, ito ang ginamit ko, same name, check paper, ito yung lalabas. So, depende kung sino ang i-call mo sa demo, of course. So, yun yung gagamitin niya na check paper. So, that is method overriding. So, let me just quickly show you sa demo. Instructor, okay. Okay, so let me do something kakaiba. Okay. It is casting. Again, another forms of polymorphism. Magsa-start ako kay employee. Employee E1 equals to new. But this time, I am going to instantiate it as a teacher. Pwede yun. Okay? Inherit ko siya di ba? Siya yung predecessor ko. Ayan. Parang kumbaga, anak mo. So, pwede yun. Try natin kung pwede ang grandchild. Doon naman yung idea, di ba? Grandchild niya si instructor, anak niya si teacher. Spelling instructor. Yes, it works. Okay? So, ang nangyari dito is nagka-casting. Downcasting ba? Downcasting. Ito is si E2, which is expected na dapat employee type. Pero, dinoncast ko siya into teacher. Okay? So, ganun din si instructor. Which means that si E1, kapag kinol ko si, ano yung natin? Check. E1 check paper. Oops. Ano pa spelling? E1 error. Ayaw niya. Ano error? Baliktad ba? Okay. Sorry, wait lang. Sorry, wrong ano pala to. Wrong example. Huwag yan. Kalimutan yan. Okay. Gawa tayo ng isang method sa employee which is accessible sa lahat. Baliktad, sorry. Wrong example yan. Okay. So sa employee, gawa tayo ng isa pang method that is accessible to both, which is public void print salary grade. Sorry, my mistake. Okay. So ang ginagawa lang nito is to print kung anong salary grade siya. Okay. So for example, dito, syempre, none. Okay. And then, we will override this dun sa ating teacher. Okay. So si teacher will now have a salary grade. I'm not forgot yung mga salary grades dyan, but we'll see 15. 15-1. Okay. Para kompleto, salary grade. SG. Si employee. SG equal to none. And then we also have, okay, saan na si instructor yun? Si instructor, another method. Palitan natin ng SG, gawin natin, so babak 12. Okay, 12. Yan. Okay, so again, meron akong ginawang method sa employee. And then, same method, same name, walang parameters, except kung ano yung laman. Yun yung nag-iiba, yung laman ng ating method. And then, I will call sa aking demo. So, okay, let's make instances of each one. So, employee, let's do employee. Okay, and then we have teacher, teacher. And then we have instructor, new instructor. So parang similar dun sa kanina na addition symbol. Depende sa context kung sinong nagko-call. Let's see, e dot get. Ano pala, print, sorry. Print. Salary grade. Pihin ko na lang para mabilis. E, T, and I. So, yan. Same names, lahat sila. Wala naman akong pinapasok na data. Same structure. But, if we run this, oops. If we run this, okay, it will give me different values. So, different na mga answers. Okay, so it depends kung sino yung nagko-call. Okay, so ganun ang idea ng polymorphism. So method overriding, okay, print salary grade, okay, can be overridden by the subclass. Okay, so I think that is the last part of my presentation. Naabot 4:05 ang aking time. Okay, so I'd like to leave you with this, kung napanood nyo yun sa YouTube, okay, ito yung gusto kong sinabi ni Gabe about programmers, programmers of tomorrow or the wizards of the future, which is true. Okay, para tayong mga magicians. So I think it's going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else. So sabi din ni Drew, kung mapanood mo yung video, sabi din niya, it's like having a superpower. Okay, so I really encourage everyone, lalo na yung mga sa high school pa lang, even as early as elementary, you encourage your kids or your students to delve into programming. Lalo na ngayon na lahat puro online, we really need developers for 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 the future, of course, kasi nga it looks like we're not really going to go back dun sa dati nating normal, diba? So a lot of it is going to be online na. So and we're going to need a lot of developers, a lot of programmers. So as we should start as early as now. Okay? So thank you po. Ito yung mga references ko. Some of the references that I used. So if you really want to delve into Java, yung mga details niya, a very good book that I would recommend is by Java How to Program by Title and Title. So si Title and Title is an easy read, madaling intindihin, especially for beginners. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. So salamat sa sa mga nakiki-interact by following dun sa ating coding sessions. So if you have any questions, ayan. So Celeste, andyan ba kayo? Ayan,
Yes.
so reminder daw yung inyong evaluation. Okay. Sino ba? LK, ikaw ba? Go ahead.
Celeste?
Yan, so ready naman ako if you have questions or kung wala man, then you can email me na lang ilagay ko sa chat yung aking email address. No, if you have any questions.
And no?
I think Ma'am Ash got disconnected, guys. So that wraps up, I think. Mr. Picard, do you have any more announcements? Apologies, everyone. We're having technical difficulties for today. And I think that wraps up our lesson for the lecture for this afternoon session. We hope to see you again tomorrow from 9 o'clock a.m. for the other lectures for SINSM. All right. To those who are still here, may we request you to open your camera so that we can have a short picture taking? Thank you. Proof of attendance.
Okay, magbilang na lang po ako from 1 to 3. And okay.
Wait lang, mag-aayos ako.
Sorry. Okay, okay na po ba?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Wait lang.
And next.
Okay.
Isa pa po. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. Thank you po.
Ulitin mo. Nakuha ako, Vicar. Maayos yung itsura ko. Nagfa-fog, o, tingnan mo. O, sige na, you can tomorrow. Si Sir na tomorrow. Ayan.
Hello. So sa mga hindi pa po naka-evaluate, you can scan the QR code shared here. Thank you.
I think, hindi.